Brought to you by our exclusive fabric partners. Be sure to look for their newest lines of fabric.
Hi, welcome to Quiltmaker's Block Network. I'm Paula Stoddard with Quiltmaker Magazine, and today I'm going to share with you block number 709, Dancing Dahlias. This block was designed by Nancy Mahoney for Quiltmaker's 100 Blocks Volume 8. I'll show you how to make the block, and then we'll look at some interesting setting designs. For this block, you will need a green tone-on-tone and several red prints and tone-on-tones and a light background fabric. You can see the cutting dimensions on the right of your screen. If you'd like to write these down, please pause your video now. The first thing you need to do is prepare your background square. So you need to fold it in half, both ways, and both ways diagonally. Then you need to draw your line to center your block. The easiest way to do that is to take your 12.5-inch ruler. This square has been cut 13.5 inches, and you need to draw a 12.5-inch line so that you know where your block ends. So you'll center your 12.5-inch ruler, corner to corner, and your diagonal line across this fold line. You'll center it, and then you'll take a pencil and you'll draw around your ruler to draw this line. So the first thing you need to do is make your bias stems. So you're going to cut one bias strip 1 inch by 28 inches long, and it's on the bias so that it will be stretchy so that it's easier to make your stems. You're going to fold this strip wrong sides together, and you're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam along the raw edge of the entire strip. Then you'll take your scissors and you're going to trim your raw edge about 1/8 of an inch away from your seam, and you'll trim your entire strip so that it looks like this, so it has a very small seam allowance. Then you're going to make your bias stem by using your bias bars. It's a great tool that helps you make bias stems and lay them flat, and it makes it really easy to press. So you'll put your bias bar inside of the tube that you've just made. You make sure that your seam and your seam allowance is on the back side, and you slide it onto your bias bar like this, and then you will press it flat, and then when it's cooled, you can keep sliding it down your bias bar all the way down until you have pressed your entire bias strip flat. After you've done that, you'll cut your bias strip into 4 even lengths. So now you need to prepare your applique patches. The patches that go around the outside of the block are turned edge applique. So you will take your patches and along the outer curved edges, you will prepare them for turned edge applique so that they will look like this. Your flower patches and the leaves and the flower centers are all fusible applique. So you'll need to prepare those by using fusible web and prepare those patches for fusible applique. You'll need to prepare all of the flowers and the leaves and the flower centers. So now it's time to place your applique patches that you have prepared. You can see here that I've already placed 3 of them. You're going to use your diagonal lines, your folded lines, as guides, as well as the line that you have drawn around the outside of your block. So first you'll need to place your stem, and it's easiest to place it about 1 inch away from this drawn line and a couple of inches away from this drawn line, and that will keep it pretty centered with the rest of your flowers. So you'll take your stem and you will pin it in place because it will be blind stitched into place in a few minutes. Then you'll take your flower patches and you will arrange them right next to your stem. Just like this. And your flower center. I'll have to move my pin and put it right there at the end of your flower petals there. And then your leaf, you'll position right here. And you'll fuse these into place, and it will kind of help hold your stem in place. Then you can use a blind stitch to applique your stem into place. Then you're going to add your outer patches of your block, and you will line the raw edge of the patch along with the drawn line that you drew earlier. And you'll see that these will cover up the end of your stem. You want to put your leaf a little higher. And you'll do like this, and you'll take it all the way around your block, and you will also use a blind stitch to applique these patches into place. And here you have your finished block. You'll also want to use a machine blanket stitch to stitch around all of your applique patches, your center and your leaves and your flower petals. And then you'll have your completed block. So this block is really fun to lay out just side by side, 4 by 4, because you'll get a really fun, interesting design when all of these patches are lined up against each other. And another fun design is to make 5 of these blocks and to put them on point along with some sashing and some cornerstones and a border, and that makes a really beautiful wall quilt. Dancing Dahlias and 99 other original blocks can be found in Quiltmaker's 100 Blocks Volume 8. Thanks for joining us today at Quiltmaker's Block Network. Hope to see you again soon. I was so close!